The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the apps that are starting up when we start our system. Now, my particular system here is pretty clean. So you're not going to see a system that's bloated or bogged down with a whole bunch of stuff. What you are going to see is how to check your system to see what's going on with it. So the first thing we're going to do is check our startup apps. So we're going to hold down Control Alt and Delete. When you hold down Control Alt and Delete, you're going to get this screen. We're going to open up the Task Manager. And eventually it'll open here. We're going to left click More Details. And this will bring us up in the Processes tab. We're going to left click the Startup tab. The Startup tab is going to show us everything that's starting up. It's going to show us the publisher, the status, and the startup impact. Even if it says low impact, if you don't need it starting up when you start your system, why have it start up? Now in this case, I have 4 items. Let's say I don't want Microsoft OneDrive starting up. I'm going to left click to select it, and I'm going to left click Disable down here. Now we can see it's disabled, and the next time we start our system, Microsoft OneDrive will not start. The next item we're going to look at is running disk cleanup. So we're going to tap on the Start menu here. I have the classic Start menu installed. You can also go down here to the search box, and you can simply type in disk cleanup. And you'll get the disk cleanup utility. And you'll have a bunch of different selections here that you can make. One important thing to note is you'll want to click Clean Up System Files. And in this system here, we can see that we have almost 3 GB of Windows updates sitting on our disk. So we don't need those. And when we do these system files, we have some other things in here that we can select. Delivery optimization files, 1 GB. And remember, folks, this is a fairly clean system. So if your system's been in use for a while, you may be able to free up quite a bit of space. Freeing up that space more times than not is going to speed up your system. And at the very least, even if it doesn't speed up your system, it's going to free up some storage. The next item we're going to look at is we're going to look at the software that we have installed. So let's go into PC Settings. And actually, we can just use Settings. And if we go into Apps, this is going to show us all the different apps we have installed. Now, you notice we have a bunch of different things in here, but for whatever reason, Microsoft likes to include these games. I don't play games, definitely don't play them on this system. So things like Candy Crush Friends or Farm Heroes Saga, we can see that this one takes up 208 meg, this one takes up 273 meg. We can left click on that and we can click uninstall, and it will free up that space on our system. Any applications that you're not using, for example, we have mobile plans here. This is a desktop with no mobile connection, so we don't need that. And we can continue to scroll through the list and remove anything that we don't need. The next thing we can do is we can tweak special effects. So if we want to speed up our system, one surefire way to do that is to disable any special effects on the system. So to disable special effects, we're going to go in the search box, we're going to type in control, we're going to launch the control panel, we're going to switch from category view to small icons, we're going to select system, we're going to select advanced system settings, then we're going to select performance, and under the visual effects tab here we can select adjust for best performance. This is going to adjust the visual effects, basically turn them all off to give us the best performance. You can also customize this. For example, you can start by adjust for best appearance, and then you can customize that by turning one thing at a time off until you get the desired performance that you're looking for. But if you're looking for sheer performance, you can adjust it for best performance and then apply that. The next thing we can do is we can disable transparency. To do that, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to personalize, then I'm going to go to the color settings. Once I'm in the color settings, I can turn transparency effects off. Now, of course, on this particular PC, I don't have Windows activated, so it's not going to let me toggle this. But so long as you have Windows activated, you can toggle the transparency effects off, and that will increase performance. The next thing you can do is you can run the disk defragmenter. I'm going to tap in the search box here, and I'm going to type in disk, and I come up with defragment and optimize drives. Now, in my case, I have a solid state drive. If you have a solid state drive, you're going to run the optimize command, and what that's going to do is it's going to run the trim on the drive. If you have a standard hard drive, you'll be able to defragment that. You'll analyze it, it'll tell you how fragmented it is, and you can defragment it. On most machines, this is going to be done automatically once a week, but you can also do it manually, and you can also change the settings. You can run it daily, weekly, or monthly. Weekly is probably the best. You can also choose the drives, so you can go in there and make sure that all of your drives are selected. The last tip I'm going to show you is a tool that you can download. So we're going to open our browser, and we're going to type in ccleaner.com. Now we're going to download the free version, but if you find the utility useful, you can certainly download the professional version and purchase that for $25. It's a pretty good value. But the free version will give you standard privacy protection and standard cleaning. So we're going to download the free version and look at that here today. Once the file is downloaded, we're going to left click to launch it. We're going to say yes to the user account control prompt. We can close this. We are not going to install Google Chrome, and we're going to customize, and we can leave everything selected and say install. We don't need to view the release notes. Run cleaner. So let's bring this full screen. So once CCleaner is installed, we're going to go into the options first. and we're going to change a couple things in here. The first thing we're going to do is turn off smart cleaning, because that's going to make it run in the background all the time, and we don't want anything additional running in the background. To do that, we're going to left click where it says tell me when there are junk files to clean. We're also going to left click here, and that's going to disable smart cleaning. It's going to warn us, tell us it's not recommended. Are we sure we want to do this? We're going to say yes. The other thing I do is I go into advanced and I uncheck only delete files in the Windows temp folder that are older than 24 hours. Then we can start our cleaning process. I'm going to go to custom clean, and I'm going to select everything on the list that I can. Be aware that when you check off things like session, cookies, passwords, and so on, what's going to happen is it's going to delete those things from your browser. So if you have saved passwords, if you've logged into websites, you're going to have to do that over again. So be aware of that. But I typically check all of these things off. The other thing I do is I check off Windows error reporting, DNS cache, the Windows event logs, and of course it's going to give us a bunch of warnings, but I check all these things off except for the last two. I leave the last two unchecked. I check these off. Next, we can go over to the Applications tab, and we can also select items to clean in there. Once we've selected everything we want, we're going to left-click Analyze here, and it's going to analyze all these things and tell us how much space we can free up. Like I said, this system is fairly clean. It looks like it's only going to remove about 60 megabyte worth of data. So I'm not going to run the cleaner at this point, but you can run the cleaner by clicking that. The last thing we can do is we can look at the registry. This is not so much of a big thing anymore. I still like to do it, and it doesn't seem to hurt anything. So I'm going to scan for registry issues. Basically, this is just going to search for invalid registry entries. Then when it's done, we can say fix selected issues. It's going to ask us, do we want to back up the registry before making changes? I always recommend that you do. In my case, I'm just going to say no. Then it's going to let me fix them. And of course, once you're done cleaning everything, you're going to want to go ahead and restart the computer just for good measure. And after this cleanup process, your machine should be running much better. Should be faster, should be more responsive. Folks, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps other YouTubers find quality content, and we really appreciate it. Click the subscribe button, and then click the bell to get notified whenever new content is added. As always, comments, questions, and suggestions are welcome below, and we thank you very much for watching.